Yes, Dr. Jayashree, thank you for accepting our invitation. And it's a great morning to see you. Despite this torrential rain in Mumbai, it's a very bright feeling, and I'm very, excited and full of enthusiasm to, learn so much from you. You require no introduction, but I understand it's a 170-year-old practice. The multi-specialty hospital, which adheres to the principles of traditional knowledge alongside, providing the modern comfort. So, first topic, what I would begin with is pregnancy nutrition, which includes mother and the baby. So we often say a baby starts eating before birth through the mother. And how does a mother's nutrition during pregnancy shape the child's immunity, the brain development, and long-term health?
The entire basis of the fetus turning into a child depends entirely on the nutrition it is getting from the mother. So whatever the mother eats, thinks, looks at all her emotion, everything gets bundled into the nutrition that the child is getting. So it's very essential that a pregnant woman should be very cautious of what she eats, what she thinks, how she behaves. It is very important. Only the mind also should be, good, positive thinking and all that. That is why it's so much time and regress that fear should not be there. They should be in a good place. They should go to a temple and other things often because the vibrations there are so good. Because there are so many aspects into the way that they have talked about 9 months of pregnancy. And the most important focus has been given for nutrition. Because the entire focus of the child development depends on what the nutrition the child is going to get, both in the form of the mind and the body. Nutrition is a very important part. No doubt.
True, very true. Because I myself is a mother to two. So I know it's very important, at the same time, belonging ourselves to the Shastras also and reading through their, what the traditional way of, carrying through our pregnancy is very important. So if you had to create the ideal pregnancy plate using the Ayurvedic principles, so what foods should absolutely, need to be a part of it?
See, first thing we have to remember is the ojas should be strong. That is vitality, the resistance power, all those things. Then healthy tissue formation. That becomes very essential because the every tissue has to be formed very well. Then the intellect and the strength and the longevity. Because the life of a child will depend on how healthy the child is. So all these things are very important. Generally in Ayurveda, if you see when we are talking about the nutrition, no, we have got something called Garbhini Paricharya. That is specific food for specific seasons of specific month of the pregnancy is indicated. Garbhini Paricharya is described in all the shastras like the Charaka, Shushruta. And this is very specific for the dosha involved, the seasons involved, and the food that is given. And this traditional food and recipes that has come from our families, or elder Chinese families, they were the people who used to do all this pregnancy and childbirth and all, right? Their type of nutrition and guideline also is very good. So all these things play a very important role. So that is something, yes, very important.
Very true, ma'am. So that's what I remember, myself eating lots of, traditional food and being vegetarian. So lots of ragi, lots of ghee, and lots of all these things. And we have our own gaushala.
No, super. I
Yes,
think
yes.
your kid is really
Yes. So we have our own gaushala. So all these things were taken care of.
okay. And see, people always have this wrong concept of thinking that ghee is, fattening, ghee is not good. But actually, ghee is only fire, digestive fire.
Yes.
And it is very good for the brain, for the nervous system, and so many organs and tissues of our body. So ghee has so much of an importance. So the first myth
Absolutely.
that we should break is that ghee is not your enemy. Ghee is the best digestive fire that digests everything you eat and reaches it out to every single portion in your body. So if you're pregnant and you have ghee, that's the best thing you can do. The brain, the one product that can cross the brain-body barrier is the ghee. That's why most of the medicines for the intellect is given through the base of ghee. You get, different greens, brahmic, so many programs for the brain. And it's always with the ghee tool. So It plays a very important.
Very important. When that is how, ma'am, I started this, talk with you, that how you infuse the traditional methods and the providing the modern comfort also. So very for every mother or for every individual, specifically, in this space of mother and child nutrition.
Yes.
What about once the baby arrives, the focus often shifts away from the mother. So why is this? Why is nourishing the mother just as important as nourishing the newborn?
See, nourishing the mother, the child survives on the mother's milk. First, it was within her. And then after the child is born also, it is through the breast milk that the child is getting all the nutrition. So unless the nutrition of the mother is sufficient enough to feed both her and the baby, this will not be achieved. So she has to be very conscious of what she eats, when she eats, where she eats, how much she eats. All this plays a very important. So that definitely we have to have in our mind. Should be 1 or 2 teaspoons of ghee, especially in the meal, especially in the afternoon times, very important because that serves both the mind and the body. Ghee is an integral part. Like we say, no, before you want to cook any food, you have to light the stove. Taking ghee is like lighting the stove. As simple as that. Once it is lit, then whatever you take will get properly digested. That is why the importance of pork. After that comes the factors of what all we eat. Should be warm milk, there should be fruits, there should be vegetables, all but fresh fishes. Nothing should be stale, nothing should be overnight. All this has got its own deteriorating factors. Yeah? So that has to be taken care of.
Correct. So following question would be, ma'am, that traditional Indian postpartum diets have been followed for generations. So are there science and Ayurvedic wisdom behind these practices that modern families should preserve and carry forward with?
Yes, I do believe that is very essential. When you go into a Garbhini Paricharya, the diet is one of the most important. How much you eat, how many times you eat, and how the digestion and the other things takes place. Traditionally, if you see in a proper thing where the post-delivery care is taken care of, they will give only one meal a day in the afternoon. The morning and evening will generally be very light. Either give you only kanji or soups or, liquid diet and everything. Because the underlying factor of the whole thing is you should never get indigestion when you're feeding. So the pregnant mother has to be very careful that whatever she eats should be nutritious and it should be only sufficient enough for her to digest and maintain the digestive process so that there is never anything called ajina or indigestion in her system. Because that is what actually is the seed of disease or seed of imbalance in the body. So there, that particular care of how much she takes, what she takes, how good is what she's taking, all that takes so much of importance.
Very important, very important.
Huh.
So breastfeeding mothers are often told to eat for two. So what does adequate nutrition during breastfeeding actually look like, and what would you suggest?
Okay. Breastfeeding time, the mother has to be double careful of what she is eating, how many times
What
she's
should we eat? Yes.
Generally, we have found that, in the anxiety that they have to feed the child, they'll take a little bit too much of everything, including milk. Okay, we'll take a fat, creamy milk, and that they will consume more number of times. But then are they using the food accordingly? So basically, a mother, when she is breastfeeding, the importance she should give is how much appetite she has and how much she is eating, whether it is properly digested. Now, here the principle I'll tell you. Bob, I will eat 3/4 of the stomach, like a balloon. When the balloon is full, you cannot contract or expand. So our stomach also will not contract or expand. So you should eat 3/4 only. So when you eat 3/4, then digestion will be good. Out of the 3/4, how much should we eat solid and how much liquid? Now, supposing the appetite is good, then she can take half solid, half liquid. But after liquid should be there because then only the blending takes place in the body and absorption takes place properly. If she's not hungry, even half is heavy, only 3/4 solid. 1/4 solid and 3/4 liquid. Then blending will be good, the absorption will be good. Sometimes the trick is about not only how much you eat and what you eat, how much is digested. So that capacity has to be seen. If the baby is having a lot of loose motion, then the mother should not take too nutritious that the child is not able to digest. He'll go for more number of times of motion. So that time she should also take food which is light, easily digestible, and she should take the medicine to stop the diarrhea in the kid. This becomes very important.
True, ma'am. Very
Yeah,
important.
that
I
particular
remember,
cause for this.
going through this phase, and in my case, in the postpartum phase, I was literally, withdrawing myself from eating sometimes. I didn't feel like eating also at times.
Correct. Yeah. See, then you do have to be guided by your epic. Suppose you're not feeling hungry, take nutritious drinks and soups. Don't go empty stomach. Understood? Because the child does need some portion. So at that time, how you are providing is left to you according to your appetite and your digestion. Because the milk comes from you. So the most important thing is how much the lady eats when she is feeding the child. So she has to be very conscious that her diet should be proper. And the first 40 days, she has to eat very light. In fact, if you see the traditional method of part whatever they are giving food and other things. So it will be very light. It will be only in the afternoon they will give meal. The morning and evening will only be liquids.
So, ma'am, the next question I would ask is, related to the newborn care and the early nutrition. So, the first 6 months are often described as the foundation of the lifelong health. So, what, now coming straight to the mainstream question, that what nutritional practices during this period makes the biggest difference?
The mother's feed is equally important because she's the person going to be feeding the child at least until 3 months. After the 3 months, slowly, we'll be putting them on external feed until the 6 months when we start the piles and other things. So the first 3 months, very, very important that the mother's diet is totally as strict and controlled so that she never runs into indigestion. That's the first mistake that people think. They think, okay, I'm taking only food which is told for a lady who is feeding, for a lactating mother. But then if that she takes in more quantity where there is indigestion, that doesn't help. So what is the guideline that guides a mother? We don't have to every time go to a lab to check what happens. The child should feel hungry at the right time. It's no, he'll ask for milk or he'll ask for crying for milk or for food or something. If 3 months, 4 months, they'll do different actions. So that should be at right time, and the motion of the child should be good. Now, suppose the motion is smelly. Suppose there is a green motion, or it is not properly formed. The child cries when he is going. All these are indications saying that he is not getting the proper nutrition that is required. The mother say, we have seen so many times during our practice, if she's taking proper potatoes and underground tubers and other things and she's feeding the child will cry because there is so much of a gas in the stomach. So these are the different signs that come. If they just palpate the stomach and all, they'll know that there is a balloon type of effect in the stomach, like it is bloated. Then definitely the mother has to take medicine to see that the bloating reduces. There's an Hinglalia or anything to medicines also. That is useful. Even buttermilk and needle also does a good job. Some digestive like pepper rasam and things like that. So they have to be careful in what they eat. Their digestion, okay, the baby is fine. And the regular time of eating, sometimes in over anxiety, mother tries to overfeed. But whenever you feel that the child is now, playing around, is not drinking, he's just playing around. And the best thing is taken, put him on the shoulder, at his back, and slowly, press the back downwards so that the gas or feeding is released, the birth comes and the baby is happy and plays. So these things are very important. The mother feels that, no, I should give more milk, but it is never dependent on the weight she has. It's dependent on how much her child wants. So that is one caution that they will have to take care.
Correct. And plus, also, doctor, that when mother is expecting or after the delivery, the mothers cannot take much of her medications also. It's very difficult. And during that phase, the immunity is so weak that we often catch cold or cough or fever or something like that. So that is also something very significant where the Ayurveda plays a very significant role and all our traditional practices.
Yes, and it's wonderful. I still remember when you're pregnant or during the delivery time, let's say indigestion is they'll come up with all the restrictions. Nothing in the morning, nothing in the evening, going for a pepper rasam or going for a ginger tea, chuku coffee, things like that. They will apply castor oil over the umbilical and other things. And they will try to give you more of kanjis and things that will give you nutrition, yet light to digest. You have not. In that way, traditional systems are very good, where the grannies and the ayahs, they used to
Yes, ma'am. Very
kind of thought, oh, this is simple, do this, do that.
I
As
remember during my pregnancy, whenever I used to catch cold or cough, Kanthal was the only remedy and the natural ajwain and something like that which I used to put.
Yes, exactly. Country music is a very simple formula.
Very,
Similarly,
very.
ginger juice,
Ha.
the lemon ginger drink that you have, and
Yes.
basically pepper-oriented drinks used to be very, very common.
Hmm.
But there are other things also. One is the appetite. Another thing, they used to be very strict about us being not very much in bright sunlight, if you remember.
Very, very
I
correct.
mean, right, artificial lights. More regular lighting and a little bit more in the shade where the child's eye is not affected so much. Because too much artificial light definitely seems to be effective. That is one thing the modern day ladies are not doing, which may be having an impact on the eye, the sight, whether they wear specs more often, things like that. Where they're often attracted more to us. Say, they will be feeding the child and they'll be seeing the TV. All this does have an impact on the mother and child both. Food, both sense-wise and eatable-wise, is very important for what they do. And the thoughts, that is
Hmm.
even lot of importance in life. That the mother thinks when she's feeding or when she's lactating. Very, very important. It should be very sattvic in nature. They
Yes.
should not be angry. She should not be shouting at somebody when she's giving or she should not be seeing some suspense movie. There will be death and things like that. But these things, the elders used to often specify under that they should follow. Today also, I do hope that these things are being followed.
Hmm. Correct, correct. Very, very correct. So, ma'am, beyond being a source of food, what role does breastfeeding play in building a child's immunity and future health? Because as we see, it's so rampant in today's time that, they are given top milks instead of mothers feeding, breastfeeding. So,
Yeah.
what would be your suggestion in this, ma'am?
I would go for only normal breast milk. Whatever proper is. See, the purity of the mother's milk remains until it comes out of the nipple. If it goes directly to the child, it's a direct connection. The moment you take it into a bottle and start feeding and all, that makes a huge difference. It will not have the same sattva that is there for the mother's milk. And probably if they are going to store it for some time and give it, then they will also be adding something. The effect of the storage place where they keep it, which is chilled, if the temperature changes, which changes the quality of the milk. There are so many factors. Generally, artificial milk is not so advised. As far as mother should give milk and it does not affect her beauty. Some of her patients keep telling me, no, I don't want to lose my youth. I don't want my dress to become, saggy or something like that. I don't want to give milk. So I just, you know, avoid it or something. That doesn't make sense. Their frame will become more beautiful if they give milk to the child. And as long as possible, it's not necessarily they should give only for 3 months or 6 months. They can give even up to a year or two. That way, no, today's latest ladies are
Hmm.
running back to a time where to do overdo it. There's one patient of mine who says she's giving milk for 2.5 to 3 years also. But it's not necessary. Once the tooth comes in, she's ready for outside food. So 1 to 1.25 months, maximum say 1.5, if she's getting full milk is fine. Otherwise, the virtual milk is coming, she can start cleaning even after the 10, 12 month or as long as she's getting milk. If she's a working woman too, she has to, daytime she has to sacrifice long milk. But then at night when she comes at least once if she sees the baby and other things. Her mother's thoughts, action, mother's nutrition, everything will complete the child. So as far as possible, it does do it. That is important. Mother's nutrition becomes very important. So she should be careful what she eats. Even if she's working, chain of the work will reduce the weight. So all these factors are there. But
True.
then we cannot stop working also. So some balance in the nutrition that she eats makes a huge difference.
Correct. And especially the working women, because they also have to be very, very, very particular about their diets and everything, leaving
Yes.
aside their work for those 6 months of maternity period, whatever the leave they get.
Yes, that will be the best. And actually, even their body will recook very fine. Yes, for the 3 months, first 3 months important, and 6 months, if they are able to take care, be awesome.
Yeah.
Even if they grow up, they should carry food from home and eat accordingly. And they should take care that their energy really doesn't different. So they should take something like, simple things like, we call it Nelpuri Kanji. What they give for that Vinayak Chaturthi, do that laddus, no, out of that puri. Umra, something like that. I do not know the other things.
No.
Puff rice. Puff rice. Puff rice is
Mamra.
very light, So things like that, where they make a kanji and take, no, that will be light, very nutritious, equivalent to the aini, they say. So those sort of things you should take, especially mangla, which is the twisted you get. You get a, not the flat ones, but one with a small twist of ground out will be in between. That is what they do for this laddus for Vinayak Chaturthi and all. That
Okay.
one is very nutritious. Those sort of things, if they take, the
Correct.
creating the balance where natural energy will be coming to both the mother and the kid. And then if she's eating outside food or she's training herself and all, she should take a lot of care in taking ginger, things which are digestive. She should take only 3/4 of the stomach. She should never be overloaded. Take nutritious food, half stomach, so that whatever she eats gets digested. And the mother will carry that indigestion to the kid. So she has to be really careful. She cannot go and have lot of potatoes and things like that, which cause a lot of gas. The baby will cry that day if she's going to take things which don't undergone tubers basically recently to avoid, right? So those sort of things. Then too much delay in food. If working women, if they don't take food on time, there's a lot of delay, which again fills the stomach with gas. So that time issues occur. So these things has to be balanced. Very important.
Very well said, ma'am. Very, very important points, especially
Yeah.
for the working professionals, working women. Very
Yes.
significant points, what you just mentioned.
It's
So, ma'am,
important.
continuing on this point, so in an age of calorie counting and supplements, how does, Ayurveda define true nourishment for a growing child? So when the child is growing, how do we include the Ayurveda and, all these supplements and all?
See, two basic things. There are two things that we have to have in mind. It's not only about calories or something like that. You give the calories and the child doesn't digest it is absolutely of no use. Correct, no? So always the thing is when the baby says, I'm full, give it. You can give after 3 hours or, on the regular breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe 4 o'clock something. That should be the standard. If you overfeed, many food are high, will grow strong. No, the baby will not digest. The moment the digestion is affected, blocks the pathway of nutrition filling in the body. People are not understanding this delicate issue. They should eat. They should also eat light. They should also have pepper, ginger, and all these things. They should also see that we are feeling comfortable after eating it. The child also is comfortable. No overfeeding. It's important. That is for a pregnant. When the baby is less, until 6 months, don't start trying to force feeding him solid food. First give liquids, then come to semi-solids, then come to solids. So only after 6, you do anaprashna and other things and you go in for a little solidy food. That also should be more in the form of a thicker soup or a thicker kanji. Then it is right. Slowly getting to the normal thing and then come to the real food, what we give little by little. Never overfeed. The child will be spitting it out. And still you will say, Nini, I've seen this so many times in flights and in trains and other things. The mother will be struggling and the baby will be literally saying no, but still with force. This food is what is digested is important, not how much is taken inside. That should be the, line for the feeding others. It's very
well said. And plus, more of outdoor playing also is very significant instead of indoor playing.
The sun's light should touch the baby's body. So important. And supposing it's very hot, then let him play near where the sunlight is coming through the window. All that is fine. But sun exposure, especially the early morning sun, is so good. So if
Correct. No, that's true, ma'am. I remember in our villages, it's like when the baby is born, they, literally massage the baby and literally with the mustard oil and put that baby right in sun, under sun.
Good. A mustard
Even I did that for my kids also.
Yes, that is very good.
Despite being in Bombay, I did that.
Good. And that would have really nourished the child.
Absolutely.
Or it can depend on the type of countries and the places they stay in. If it is very cold, you can mustard oil. If it is very hot, then you can go in for options are there. Or oils with balla and milk, the balla oil for massage. So definitely a plus. At least once in 3 days. If you massage your baby, the baby will grow very.
Ma'am, in this fast moving world, are we relying too much on the immunity boosters and too little on building immunity naturally? So, in our discussion, I want the parents to focus more on what? Whether it should be more on the, little bit on building the immunity or they rely too much on the immunity boosters. and all these things. And also considering that the processed foods are becoming normal part of childhood, what are the health consequences today's children face in the future, and how can parents reverse this trend?
One thing, the basic concept should be sattvic food. However tasty fried food or spicy food will be, the digestion will be impaired. So when they are giving the kids, that we are talking only about infants basically, right? So that time this care should be taken that sattvic food is more in this. Ratsik is that which is very sour, very spicy. Tamasic is the one which is stale, which has stayed longer time. Fresh food just to prepare within 3 hours if it is had. According to the mother's appetite, she should be hungry, she should eat well and feed the child also accordingly. So, if you see the traditional, that post-pregnancy care, or even say take a betel leaf after you have your meal. Now, betel leaf, only if kampapu is there, it is wrong. But when you are having a betel leaf with the normal somb and other things, when the mother eats after food, it's an excellent digestive. And it's a source of calcium. The little lime they put on that is sufficient. Actually, the calcium required for the baby is 1 grain of rice. So that is why in the pan, when they used to put, the pan used to digest, the lime used to be a very good source of calcium. And it was a very good combination that was made that the pregnant or the lactating mother should have a betel leaf after her food. So these things used to go to the child from the mother. Definitely the baby will cry that day with the bloating in the stomach and passing lot of, gas and other things. The mother's nutrition reflects directly on the child. Very essential. And I also would like to give one tip to lactating mothers. Once in a week or once in 3 days, they used to give garlic leaf. Garlic is very good for the increasing lactation in your lactating mother.
Correct.
Too much increases heat. So they used to say once in 2-3 days. So just little care here and there about a portion, when to give, how much to give is very essential.
Correct. Very important, ma'am. All these points are very important. It should be included in everyday life.
Yeah. And
So,
night
ma'am,
meal should always be very light. They should eat before sunset. That is important. After that, the digestive faculty won't be working and it will go off towards immunity and other functions. So before that time, if the mother eats, whatever she eats will be digested and converted properly to the baby's feed. So that also
and also, ma'am,
becomes
considering that once the pregnancy, during the pregnancy and postpartum, once the delivery takes place, the women, the mothers, the new mothers are rushing into losing their weight, in which they do all sorts of fads and all sorts of irrelevant things. So,
yes.
what would be your suggestion, ma'am, if women has to follow an Ayurvedic pattern, and keeping in mind that it takes its own sweet time to lose weight and not to
Yes.
rush into it, and then causing all sorts of issues, and the baby also doesn't grow, the immunity is not built up in that baby,
Yes.
and the mother also is rushing into losing weight.
Correct. The mother should learn that during the post birth period, 3 months to 6 months is what they have to be careful. And in the first 3 months particularly, we tell them to feed morning and evening, it is light food, and give them milk and things like that. So automatically, their weight will be balanced because of this. We are taking care that her digestion does not change. Still, she gets all the nutrition and other things. She can do a little bit of walking and other things, but even if she overstrains herself with exercise, yoga, or anything to reduce weight, when she's feeding the child, it is a no. So, her control on how much she needs, what she eats to keep her well nutrition, keep her with proper nutrition and not overeating that causes her indigestion, she will be able to maintain her weight. If she was too much fasting, gas will fill in and she will bloat. So it's not only about less eating or more eating. It is about correct eating guided by her own body at the right time. Then taking good digestion, like he spoke about the pan just now. Things like that, which is a very good digestive, which gives calcium. Everything will be there. So that confidence you should have. And milk is a very good source of calcium. Good milk, whatever possible, we get the best of the milk. If we have that also helps a lot. So weight reduction should be more in what she takes, how much she takes. She should take more of pepper, ginger, like that, which are digestives. So even if she's having dal or she's having some sabji and other things, that also we get, that care should be taken. That is more important. She feels hungry in the second time, she feels like eating. Let her go more for soups or planties, which is full of nutrition, but it is not heavy. And you should eat before the 7 o'clock time. She may be from any sort of a indigestion that takes place. This is a right guideline that should be given to all.
One last question, ma'am. If every parent could adopt just one habit to raise a healthier child and healthier and happier child, what would you want that habit to be?
There's a slogan in Sanskrit, that is Ayurveda, saying hitam mitam, that which is good and that which is in proper quantity. That is the catch line that they have to follow. They should give proper food, but it should be in proper quantity. The same good, nutritious food, if you give more, that is poison. Correct? No. So that principle they have to follow. Want to give different things? Maybe you can give different things. This Swarna Prasha plays a very important role. To give immunity to the child, Ayurveda has got something called Swarna Prasha. It is like the immunization, which is given on every Pushya Nakshatra to the child. It is just a few drops or quarter teaspoon of thing they give, basically made with honey and tea, with other herbs that is there, which we give. Those sort of things we give necessarily need give to a child, which is very effective, protective also. Vikam is an underlining one.
Definitely. This should be now. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part. RCF is really privileged to have you with us. Yes.